leading up to that point, how Salazar had been throwing nothing but fastballs, and that Minnesota was sitting fastball, obviously for obvious reasons, and he was up with everything and couldn't throw anything for a strike for a stretch there. And got the visit from Callaway, comes back and goes to the changeup, gets 2 strikeouts, and really the rest was history. He threw a lot of pitches for a 5-inning stint. I think it was close to 100, but just a boost for the staff. And it was a huge game to win because they'd lost a couple straight. This game today, I think, is even bigger because you just got to go. You're 4-2 halfway through this road trip, and you've just got to get this win today. And then even if you split with the Royals, you come back 7-4 on the trip. And going in, I think you had to be satisfied with that kind of an outcome.
Yeah, when I looked at this thing, I had a range of 3 games. I said you've got to win between 6 and 8 on this trip. I truly looked at it as you've got to go sweep the middle series. That's when I looked at this road trip. I said take 2 from Detroit, take 2 from Kansas City, sweep the 3 in the middle. But you were dead on. I wish you were on yesterday because I would have said, Dan, you were dead on when you said do not, Gardy's teams always come to play. We saw that in the first game of this series, and Willingham came through, and that, a game that you could have had went there. But that's the way I looked at it. I figured, okay, that'll get you 7 right there. And then my eyes got big when you took 3 out of really the first 3, and you're like, okay, we can take 8 on this thing if the Indians buckle down. So, and like you said,
yeah, we do tend to get greedy when you take the first 3 of an 11-game road trip. Then you're saying, hey, we can win 8 or 9 on this trip. But,
that's not being greedy, though, Dan. Once you take the first 3, that's money in the bank, man. Now you've got to take advantage of that. Being greedy is saying before the series we're going to take 3 out of 4. But once you take the first 3, then you're just saying let's roll with this thing,
That's right. You're playing without Sonny at that point, and Tribe does have 2 on and 1 out in the third. So maybe we're getting something going here.
Trying to get something going for Bauer. Your boy Bauer.
Our man, the young Indian Dickerson is up at the plate. No, he walked. We're looking at Kipnis now with
the young Indian Dickerson, who's been around half the league. But hey,
that's right. He's one of our young guns.
I gotta love it though, man. Your boy Bauer's out there today doing his thing, man. It's big too. Here's another road start for him. A lesser team than he previously faced. It'd be huge confidence-wise, and for the Indians, follow up Salazar last night with a second consecutive road start that works out well for Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, that's true. It's he's got the confidence, and hopefully we give him some run support today, and because this is not a strong lineup we're facing in the Twins, and Willingham's having a down year, and he was the big gun for him last year. They've got a couple of young kids. As Colabello was thought by some people to be pretty much a 4-8 kind of player, but he was off to a super hot start this year. Got sent down because he went cold, but he's back up and hitting the ball pretty well again. But yeah, it's not a good offensive team. They're doing it with defense and doubles and mirrors, I think, and a great manager. But yeah, you need to get this W.
I got to tell you, man, I mean, Bauer, you've been on him from the beginning of this season. I know the potential he's got, but after the way things, were kind of going early on, the inconsistency, I said, well, he's a year early. He's not going to be ready till next year. And I really kind of put Bauer in the back of my mind. I started zeroing in on, Tomlin came up and McAllister, and I really put him not on the shelf, but on the back burner and said, well, if we can get a little something out of him this year, that'll be good. I think he's going to be primed. He's 1 more year away. So he really has impressed me in the last month or so in his emergence, and you've called it along the way, man. But he's stepped up earlier than I thought he would. At first, he was inconsistent, and you'll probably still see some of that, but he's turning a corner, I think. At least it feels that way to me.
Yeah, and I agree. And even just watching him early in the season, what was different about him from the picture we saw last year was he had control. Last year he was just all over the place all the time. And I remember the game that he came in, started the game, and walked the first 3 guys. And we saw some version of that really all through last season. I think it's the reason that he didn't come out of spring training on the staff this year is that was his track record. But from the get-go this year, he's made adjustments, and he has been right around the plate. You have not seen anything like the wildness. I think it got transferred over to Masterson. Whatever. But, all season this year, Bauer has been pretty much the mirror image of what he was last year. I mean, just the opposite in terms of just his ability to throw strikes. And even when he's not getting calls, he's still around his own. And just whatever he did to adjust to and it's one of these guys, like we talked about before, he's constantly tinkering with himself. He's the guy that maybe does, because he's so self-critical, he kind of got the rap early in his career about being resistant to coaching or uncoachable. Yeah. I don't think that's really the case, but you just he's always taking himself apart and putting himself back together from film and from his various grips on the ball, and he's just a self-critical guy. And whatever he's done, he's been able to make it happen. How about Ramirez with a double, hitting 077, a two-out double to put the Tribe on top there.
There we go. And I was just getting ready to say, Swarzak pitching for the Twins has actually surprised me with how he had started out the game, because I didn't get to this before the game started. I was going to talk about this earlier, and it just hasn't come up yet. He, against the Indians, is terrible in his career. 1-5. ERA over 7, and some of the Indian stats against him: ACAB 5 of 15, Brantley 5 of 15, Chisenhall 4 hit, Kipnis 6 of 11. They've all tagged this guy, and so far this year they've gotten to him in the limited amount of time that he's played as well. And I was wondering, they haven't got going at first. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I kind of raised my eyebrows when I saw Ramirez in the 2-hole today. With his 0.77 batting average, and I think he maybe should have been hitting him ninth, but I don't know. Maybe Tito knows a little bit more about baseball than me.
Didn't Maniacta used to bat him clean up?
It's possible. It's possible. And here he is, and he comes up and doubles home the first run. So sorry, Tito, for questioning you on that one.
I don't know, though, man. Didn't Maniacta bat him shortstop for half of a season, or bat him cleanup for half of a season, or something like that? Am I wrong? Is it a different Ramirez that I'm remembering just a few short years ago batting cleanup? He got cut and then re-signed and put back in the 4-hole, if I remember right. Like at one point, he was like one of the first guys to be a cleanup hitter who ended up designated for assignment, who came back to the team and went back in the 4-hole.
Yeah, that's really season. Something. And Brantley couldn't deliver with men on second, third. He lined out, but Brantley's done all year. Even the outs or line drives.
Yeah, I saw that, a diving play there to cut off the 2 runs there. But hey, the Indians with the 1-0 lead through 2.5, they've spotted. They'll play from ahead for Trevor Bauer here, and we'll see if he can mow down the Twins along the way. He has gone clean through the first third for the Indians there. Hey, something else I wanted to mention too. I don't know how much you've been keeping up down below. I know Alchin McKella was assigned across the pond for the summer, but Clint Frazier really starting to warm the season, getting himself together, which happened so much for young guys, but we've really seen him come. What was it? Not that long ago, he had that 5-for-5 game. Was it a week and a half ago, something like that? And that was the game where you said, wow, he's really starting to get some confidence and really starting to get, he had multiple home runs and was really starting to become the guy that I think the Indians hoped that he would be when they took him, obviously. And he's only 20 years old. He's on an 11-game hitting streak, and he's the Indians minor league player of the week this week. But just now beginning to kind of see what the upside in the future may be with Clint Frazier.
Yeah, 2 words you got to keep in mind with a guy like that: high school.
Yeah,
that's where he was a year ago. And where the pitchers that you're facing, don't throw sliders on the outside corner, and they don't throw great breaking balls, and they don't throw 95. And so here's a kid coming in. Talk about an adjustment to make, coming from a Georgia high school into big time baseball, whether it's at the low A level or whatever. He's looking at pitching that he's never seen before in his life, and the fact that here it is already in July, and he's making good adjustments to it, and as still in his teens or whatever. I guess he has turned 20 now, but that's a huge adjustment, and the fact that he's making it so quickly, and the bat speed is starting to play for him, and that was what everybody said. The hands on the kid were just amazing. The hands, the wrist, the bat speed was what got scouts' attention and made him go as high as he did in the draft. He's not all that big a kid, kind of a wiry kid, but he has such bat speed that he can generate power from it, and that's really been what has been the long-term outlook on him, as he's a guy that's gonna always hit because he just gets his hands and his bat through the zone so fast. But yeah, great to see him make minor league player of the week, and hopefully this is one of these. And Tyler Naquin also having a good year, so maybe the Indians have hit on a couple of their last draft picks, trying to draft those corner outfielders that are so hard to find and have been so especially hard to find for this organization lately.
For sure. And, I knew that Baseball America had Frazier as number 2 in the Indians organization behind you-know-who, Lindor, but I didn't know that they also had him as the best power-hitting prospect in baseball. Of all the prospects in minor league baseball, Clint Frazier is their number 1 power-hitting prospect. I didn't know that they also had him atop
I did not know that either, and
yeah.
I can think of a couple of people that might disagree, but or at least a couple prospects. Sano, the kid for the Twins, and some other Byron Buxton. Some of these guys look like they might surpass that. But yeah, great to see that, and the.
But Dan,
Big Red, he's going to be up here soon enough.
You know it, but you hit it. I don't care if you hit 500 for the last 10 games against A-ball pitching. What you nailed was exactly what's impressive. It's the fact that his first 2 months, seeing these guys and everything, he was hitting 240. They were having their way with him. He was frustrated. And it doesn't matter the level. It's how you adapt to seeing the same people no matter what level you're at. Well, now you hit, in the month of July, the month of July is 18 games old. He's raised his batting average 25 points so far in the month of July. He's so hot, and that is the impressive adjustment. It's not the level of guys that you're hitting. It's that facing the same guys for the second, third, fourth time you see some of these pitchers and you get into the heart of a season, he's now crushing them. And that is what you like to see, because that's the brain. That has nothing to – you'll take that to the next level, hopefully, and that's encouraging as hell, man,
Yeah, it is. And what you have to remember, too, is that same period of you adjusting to the league and the league adjusting to you is something that never stops. It keeps on going. It's what Trevor Bauer is going through right now and what Danny Salazar is going through right now. You have some success, the league adjusts to you. You have some setbacks, you've got to adjust to the adjustments. In pro baseball, that never stops happening. Because there's so much use of film and of scouting and advanced statistics and things like that there's always somebody adjusting to what you're doing, and you're going to have to tweak it later on to make it right again.
Absolutely. Hey, something else I want to ask you while we're talking Tribe here. What did you think? They called up Ramirez. Were you surprised at all that TJ House drew the unlucky straw to get sent down? I thought that he wasn't terrible against Minnesota. I mean, he had 3 runs in 5 innings.
One thing that House has done, I can recall only one start for House where he got, knocked around pretty good and didn't keep his team in the ballgame. I think he's done a good job in just about every start out.
You think it's just a juggle right now?
He's able to throw the curveball for strikes, and he's able to keep his team in the game. But I think they are operating right now with a little bit, with one starting pitcher too many. And they were sending McAllister down after he would complete his start. They did that after McAllister's last 2 starts. Bring him up, start him, send him back down, and make some moves. And so I guess it's not surprising to me that House got sent down, but I like having a lefty in the rotation. And I got to say, I've been impressed with what I've seen from House so far, even though his record and his ERA aren't exactly stellar, but he's having his baptism under fire at the major league level, and just like any other starting pitcher, he's going to take some lumps and learn along the way.
Yeah, and you know what, too? I'm with you. He's still learning and growing. I saw a great feature on him in the Plain Dealer yesterday about his journey, and especially kind of eye-opening when you see what he's done so far to realize that he was a mediocre spring away from